Okay, welcome to lesson 5.7. We're now going to be doing the subtracting part of mixed fractions. I've shown you how to do the adding part, and one of the advantages of showing you the improper fraction use first was that now when it comes to subtracting, there's really very little to change except for the subtraction of the actual numbers themselves. So let's do a little quick review of our subtracting. So we've got 2/3 take away 3/8. So in this case, I need to find a common denominator of 3 and 8. That is 3 times 8, so that's 24. So that means that I've got a denominator, which is 24 here. Now, how do they get that? Well, in order to get the 3 to a 24, I multiplied by the 8. So this side, top and bottom, are both multiplied by 8. And over here, I'm going to be multiplying both sides by the 3. So this ends up being, just like we did before, cross multiplying, 2 times 8 being 16, so that's 16 24s, and 3 times 3 is 9. I guess I should be putting a 2 here and a 3 here. That gives me 9 over 24. So this is just another view on how to do your common denominator method. If you don't like it and you want to do this other method where we just more simplified, you just want to do the 3 times 8 to get your 24, and the 2 times 8 to get 16, the 3 times 3 to get 9. You'll notice it's the same thing. So now that I've got the 16 24ths minus the 9 24ths, it's just going to be 16 take away 9, which is over 24. And of course, 16 take away 9 is 7, so that's 7 24ths. So our difference is 7 24ths. At this point, you should be going, yep, no problem, Mr. Eady. I got it. I've done this before. So let's move on to our next step, which is to increase the size of numbers till we have mixed numbers. Just like we did a second ago when we added last lesson where we added 3 3/4 plus like 1 2/3. Now we're going to subtract them, but the method is the same. Convert them both to improper fractions. So 3 3/4, I need to change that to improper fractions. So 4 times 3 is 12, plus 3 is 15/4. And then, of course, 3 times 1 is 3, plus 2, this is 5/3. So there's our improper fractions. So our next step is now to do the cross multiplying. 4 times 3 is 12, so our common denominator is a 12. 15 times 3 is 45. 5 times 4 is 20. So at this point, we're now going to subtract 45 take away 20. That's over 12. And I ran out of room here, so I'll just move up. 45 take away 20 is 25, and that's over 12. 12 goes into 25 2 times, and there's 1 12th left over. And again, like I said, we have started in improper fractions, so we want you to make sure that you finish in improper fractions. I just made that backwards, didn't I? We started in mixed fractions, so we want to make sure that you finish in mixed fractions. So the difference between 3 3/4 and 1 2/3, I guess I should write the question down here. 3 3/4 take away 1 2/3 is 2 1/12. Okay, I'll try to get my words straightened up. Okay, so here's another example for us to work with. 5 1/4 take away 3 3/5. To do this again, the first thing we need to do is to convert them to improper fractions. So what I'd like you to do is to take and do that for me right now. Pause the recording and convert these to improper. Okay, so 4 times 5 is 20 plus 1, so that's 21 over 4. Take away, that's 5 over 3. 5 times 3 is 15, and 15 plus 3 is 18 over 5. So we've got them in proper form now. The next thing is to do the cross multiplication. So I need the lowest common denominator, which is 4 times 5. So my denominator is 20. 21 times 5, that's 105. And 4 times 18, that's 72. So 105, take away 72, all over 20. Now you'll notice the method is exactly the same as we've done before. You're going to take and do this to get your denominator. 21 times 5 for this number here. 18 times 4 for this number here. Once you've got the two numbers, since we're subtracting, you just take the 105, take away 72, and it's all over 20. So this gives me 33 over 20, which of course is 1 13/20. So the difference is 1 13/20. Okay, now as we get bigger numbers, this is where your calculator is going to become very important. Punch your numbers in, but be very careful to make sure you don't screw up, because if you put the wrong number in, the answers are going to be incorrect. So I purposely made this one large, so you're now going to be working in thousands. It doesn't happen very often, but I'm going to force you to do it. It'll make you use your calculator and be a little bit more careful with it. So first thing I want you to do, convert them to improper fractions. So pause the recording and do that now. Okay, you should have 253 over 12, take away 107 over 8. Okay, now I'd like you to cross multiply to get the two fractions that you can subtract and finish off this question. So pause the recording and do that now. Okay, so when you cross multiply, 12 times 8, that gives us 96. That's our lowest denominator, or sorry, not lowest one, but it's the one we're going to use. And of course now 253 times 8, this one right here, that gives us 2024, 2024. And now 107 times 12, that way, that's 1284, 1284. So you can see the numbers are much larger now. So now I've got to take and subtract them. I'm going to move over in my room. So I've got 2024, take away the 1284. You can use your calculator. That's all over 96. And that gives you 704 over 96. And then ABC it using your calculator. That will give you 7 and 17 over 24 is your final answer. If I'm marking this, it's going to be marked improper forms, equivalent fractions, how to subtract them, what you got, what you converted it to. If it was a word problem, there'd be a sentence added to this also. Okay, turn the page. All right, even bigger numbers. You try this one. Pause the recording, complete the full question. Start it up when you're ready. Okay, so improper to mixed first. 85 and 11/24 becomes 2051 over 24, minus 269 over 8. Those are your two improper fractions. And now again, these are going to be big numbers. So 2051 times 8 gives us 16408. And that's going to be over 24 times 8, which is 192. Subtracting 269 times the 24, that's 6456 over the 90, so the 192. And of course now that we have our equivalent fractions, I can simply take and subtract them. And that gives me 9,952 over 192. Improper to mixed gives you 51 and 5/6, and I expect you to use your ABC button to do it. Now, it's always wise to use your ABC button to actually go through and double check everything so that you know that the difference is going to be correct. Your answer should be 51 and 5/6. I've shown you how to use your ABC button in your class, so you should be able to double check that. Okay, so having done that, moving on to the next question. A little smaller numbers to make it easier for you. This is the last example we're going to do. So this one you're on your own. Complete this one from start to finish, and we'll see how you do. So pause the recording. Okay, so here we go. 5 and 4/7 should be 39 over 7. That's your first improper fraction. And then 2 and 1/5 gives you 11/5. There's your second one. Improper, so your common denominator, 5 times 7 is 35. 39 times 5 gives us 195. 11 times 7 is 77. So 195, take away 77, keeping the 35 as our denominator, gives us 118 over 35, which when you reduce is 3 and 13 over 35. I said reduce. I should have said when you convert it back into mixed. This one doesn't reduce. Okay, so if you have any questions, please go back and review the lesson, the video, or come in and talk to me. I'm glad to help you out. And hopefully you can work on your assignment now with no difficulty.